Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for another episode of GlideChat. Today I have Sharell Bolden, Employee Experience Specialist and Success Manager at ServiceNow. My name is Mike Lombardo, CEO of GlideFast. Sharell, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
Oh, thanks for joining me. When I met you a couple months ago, I got real excited about your passion, and it's not often that I see someone that kind of matches my passion in the room for ServiceNow. So thanks for joining again.
Super excited. Yes, I know we have similar energies, but it's all for our customers. It's what we want to do, and it's great when you are passionate about what you do. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. So, Sharell, why don't you give us a little overview of what your role is at ServiceNow?
Well, of course. Well, I am the employee experience specialist, as you said. I know it's a mouthful, but I'm super excited. What I do here at ServiceNow is I'm over our employee experience workflow. I'm a product specialist supporting our team. So I work with customers to really identify and create a better employee experience across their organization, not just in HR, but in procurement, legal service delivery, workplace service delivery, safe workplace as we all gear up to return to work. So that's really my passion, and really thinking about employee experience as any area across the enterprise that an employee can touch and really find ways to keep them engaged and keep them excited about coming to work, especially in times like this when you see I'm working from home. And how do I still stay engaged when I'm really not seeing a lot of people, but I can leverage the technology to do that.
Absolutely. And, when we were talking, you mentioned, obviously we're in different times, right? Obviously, we've experienced a lot of turmoil and change so fast, right? And typically, I think organizations really aren't used to changing this fast, right? And there's been so much change so fast. And I know you mentioned like the Great Resignation, which I love the title, by the way. And I think the first time I heard it was with you. Could you maybe touch upon that of like what's happening with organizations and, I think maybe how ServiceNow employee experience workflows are facilitating and helping companies be competitive out there?
Awesome. Yes, the Great Resignation is it's a new term, and you probably will hear it more often. And it's fortunate you heard it from me, but it's something that I think about all the time, and I know we're thinking about here at ServiceNow. If you look at some articles, people probably Google this after this this conversation to learn a little bit more. But what we're hearing in the market and from our customers is that right now there's just a lot of employees who are leaving. I think the burnout has happened. I think, again, you said it earlier, Michael, with all the stuff going on in the world today and the climate, people are just trying to figure out what are they passionate about. They want to work for companies that keep them engaged. They want to work for companies that have that they feel that they're connected to, that's inclusive and things like that. And I think when you think about the Great Resignation, people think it's money. I'm leaving for money, or I'm leaving for more flexibility. No, you're leaving because you're disengaged. And so ServiceNow, when you think about employee experiences, that's our goal: is how can you still make an employee feel like they're in the know, that they're able to get their requests and their questions answered, they're able to be able to be communicated to and target communications, right? So when I get onto the system and it says, "Good morning, Sharell, you're here. I know you were interested in learning a little bit more about what we're doing in with inclusion or inclusive activities, or what we're doing for humanity." I mean, just different things, right? And we give our customers an opportunity to leverage technology to be able to do that and really connect to their employees. So Great Resignation is going to continue. And so how will employers think about keeping their employees engaged? And so, that's what we're thinking about here. So as we continue to enhance our products and help our customers digitize their employee experiences, that's in the back of our mind, is when you think about that customer, why do they want to be here? How are they going to be engaged? And we leverage our technology to do that.
Yeah. And, employees have such a demand really for that consumer grade experience, really in all aspects of our life now. It's not just, using Amazon and using social media platforms and our iPhones. It's really every aspect of our life. We want things now. We want it fast. We want a great experience. I mean, I can't tell you how many comments I get about people being onboarded at GlideFast. We use ServiceNow for our whole recruitment process and onboarding and really the whole life cycle of an employee. But how many just people love the fact that we use ServiceNow. We just streamline the process and make it so easy. Just simple things like selecting which laptop they want to use. But I see it. People really demand that consumer grade experience. And I really think that was kind of Fred Luddy's vision from the beginning, is not having ServiceNow as just a ticketing system, but really the whole life cycle and the whole experience of employees, but even further, there's so many use cases coming up.
Right. No, you said exactly right. When you think about it, I mean, if you go every night and you can order something for Amazon that you can get the next day, or you can get on Instagram and have a collaborative conversation with your friends or see photos or different things like that. That's what you're used to. And then you go to work and you're like using pencil and paper.
I know.
Using, a string and a cup to be able to talk to somebody and have that type of engagement. It's too different, right? So why not make that experience the same type of experience at work, and not just for, like you said, HR type requests, but if I need to go on a trip where I have a business trip that I need to take, right? I have a way to go into procurement and say, hey, I need to apply to be able to get these type of things to go to Las Vegas. I know that we talked a little bit about that, right? Like anything in your area where I can touch. If I have a legal request and there's something that happened and I really need to know the answer, then I should be able to just make a request and say, hey, this is a universal request. I don't know who it goes to, but I'm going to put this into this portal. I'm going to put this into my phone, and it should be able, a workflow should be able to happen on the back end where I never know, or who I need to touch, but I know I'm being serviced and I'm being serviced quickly. And I know that in, 2.5 seconds, I'm going to get a response that says, hey, Sharell, I heard you. I hear you. I see you. We're working on it, and we're going to get you an answer quickly. Those are the type of experiences that we think about here at ServiceNow, is how do we make that person on the other end really get that consumer grade experience and that real time experience where they're not sitting at home waiting on, hey, I asked a question, I had a question 3 weeks ago and no one said anything. I'm already at home. I don't see anybody. I don't have any friends in the office. And here I am being ignored. Well, we don't want employees to feel that way. We want them to know that someone is looking at them, someone cares about them, and someone is targeting their communications just specifically for them, and that they can feel special and know that, that they are a part of that community at that company. And so that's how I want you to think about it. When you think about employee experience, it's just anything that an employee can touch, we can automate that, and we can make that interaction between the employee and the employer a very seamless experience.
Yeah. And you got me thinking, I mean, now with the talent shortage out there, right? Companies are competing more than ever for that, above and beyond talent, right? That high level talent. And, speaking with you, it's almost like employees really want two things, right? First of all, they want, when they reach out, like you said, when they reach out for questions or when they have a need, they want it fulfilled, first of all. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have a platform like ServiceNow facilitating that service, right, that service, if you're in email, you're not sure if those needs are getting fulfilled. So that's maybe the first thing that ServiceNow is going to ensure that this service is filled, or the request is filled, right? And the other side of it is a phenomenal experience during that interaction with the employee, right? Where instead of, maybe if that process or workflow lives in an email, maybe it does get fulfilled, but it took a long time. Maybe I had to wait on hold to call somebody and wait for an answer, when, like you mentioned, instead of just going through a portal, having a beautiful front end and having an easy way to just ask and answer that question, or just search a knowledge base and just get the answer that way. So that makes complete sense now. I think I'm learning a little bit about the Great Resignation.
Right. Well, we don't want anybody here at ServiceNow, and I know you either, Michael, at GlideFast to leave, right? And how do you make it, especially again during these times, how do you make them feel connected? And the only way you can do that is to really digitize their experience, because that's the only way you're touching your employees right now is via technology. So you have to have a great seamless experience for them to to again feel engaged or not feel lost. I hear a lot of people who started during the pandemic here at ServiceNow, and although they never met anybody, they still felt connected. They still could see, and feel good about the place that they chose to work, because everything that they needed, they had on day one. They put it, when they started, they had everything. There wasn't any gaps with onboarding.
Yeah.
If they have a request, they're being serviced quickly. And so again, we want to see that for all of our customers, that there's not someone waiting who just started at your organization during this time where it's already hard to get talent. They just started. They're sitting there like, well, why did I take this job? I've been here for 3 weeks. I don't have a computer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I haven't heard from my colleagues yet, and
yep.
we don't want that. It's already hard enough to compete for talent. So let's make it the best experience for your employees, so that when they come on day one, regardless if they see a person or not, they feel included and they feel like they have what they need to be successful.
Absolutely. Sharell, if you could give maybe a piece of advice for customers, let's say they are a ServiceNow customer already. Let's say, and they've been leveraging ServiceNow mostly for IT, which a lot of the ServiceNow customer journeys have really started off that way, I think, in the majority. What would you give for a recommendation on a way to get started of leveraging ServiceNow for employee experience? Because obviously we don't want to try to boil the ocean or bite off more than they can chew. What's maybe a good way to kind of get started leveraging ServiceNow for the employee experience?
Well, I think one of the things, especially if you're a current customer in the IT space, is that IT and HR overlap a lot, right? I mean, and that just happens at any organization. So It's a natural progression to move from IT into HR as a function, right, to support your employee experiences. And what I would say for organizations is to really think about, how can you have a better HR and IT story together? And not even just HR, but enterprise-wide, enterprise service-wide story across your organization. So, again, I heard you, Michael, when you say taking those steps. Well, moving into, the differences would just be helping your employees adapt. I mean, a lot of employees right now are used to going to IT for a question. Hey, I have a problem with my laptop. I have a problem, I need help. So you're moving into that same type of behavior, where now it's, hey, I have a question about my benefits. I have a question about my payroll. Who can I go to? I want to know, make it quick, that I don't have to go knock on the door down the hall to try to figure out how I get employment verification letter. I'm going to be able to do that easily. So I say this, the advice that I would give is that when you think about it, again, there's already so much overlap between the two, that is an easy transition to get employees to adapt, to get that system in place. So think about it when you, as an IT user right now, you're thinking about some of the questions that you have that are HR. How can you expand that into the business where HR can also have those same type of self-service options that those IT users have today? So I would just say that, again, it's a natural progression to get involved in, to start talking to your other HR leaders and say, hey, IT and HR, how can we do a better together story, so that overall we have one central experience for our employees, so they don't have to know where to go to IT, or they don't have to go to HR.
Exactly.
One central experience
across the board.
So
yeah, and it's a lot, right? If you're a new employee at a 20,000 employee organization, where do I go for these things? Most likely they're going to bog down their manager with questions. Hey, who do I contact about taking a leave of absence, or, upgrading my computer, or, right, fill in the blank here, everything, right? Having that one central place to go. And that's why I think you mentioned universal request, which is a new feature that ServiceNow has been rolling on the last couple of releases. And I just love that, because that really kind of lays the groundwork for just that, everything universal, right? Universally, which, it allows you to just kind of, let's take this general question from a user, and allows us to handle in the back end where the fulfillment needs to be. And the customer doesn't, the employee, the customer, they don't care about, how we sort that, right? They don't care about how we fulfill that request. They just care that it gets fulfilled, right? So that universal request truly kind of allows that intake and then fulfillment on the back end to happen.
Right. No, you said exactly, what the purpose of universal request is that an employee experience, again, employees should be able to come into one place regardless of their request, and know that it's happening on the back end, and that in a couple of days, couple of hours, couple of minutes, whatever it may be, when you put your SLAs in place at the organization, that employee is going to know that someone is working that request. And when we think about a lot of the enhancements that ServiceNow is doing, we're focusing on that one portal, that universal request into that one portal, that one-stop shop for employees to go to be serviced. So yeah, I mean, again, that helps overall. I mean, if you know you don't have to go to 12 different places to find one thing and you have one place to go,
Yeah,
I mean, that employee satisfaction scores are going to continue to climb around at your organization.
absolutely. I think, Sharell, I think this was a phenomenal episode. Thank you for joining me. I think if we could leave our audience with one thing, I think one portal, one place to go for everything, is really a successful organization, is going to allow you to be competitive out there for talent.
Mhm.
We all know, like you said, we're in a talent shortage,
Right.
and which is part of the Great Resignation. But Sharell, thank you for taking the time for this episode.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I totally agree. Let's help our customers get ahead of that great resignation and help them with this big shift that's happening in the world today.